Beneath the thick jungles and flooded plains of Southeast Asia lies the ruins of an empire that once rivaled the greatest civilizations on Earth. Long before skyscrapers and smartphones, there existed a kingdom of vast cities, massive roadways, and water systems so advanced that modern engineers are still baffled. It wasn't Rome, it wasn't China, it was the Khmer Empire, and much of it has been completely forgotten. But now, thanks to laser scanning, ancient DNA, and new archaeology, its secrets are finally being unearthed. Most people know Angkor Wat, a stunning temple complex in Cambodia often called the largest religious monument in the world. But Angkor Wat is only a tiny piece of a much larger, once thriving megacity. At its height around the 12th century, the Khmer Empire ruled over vast parts of modern-day Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. Its capital, Angkor, was a sprawling urban center with a population of up to 1 million people, making it one of the largest cities in the pre-industrial world. And yet, for centuries, Angkor and its empire disappeared beneath vines, earth, and memory. In 2012, scientists used LiDAR technology, a type of airborne laser scanning, to peer beneath the jungle canopy in Cambodia. What they found was astonishing. Vast road systems, hidden temples, reservoirs and canals, entire urban grids covering hundreds of square kilometers. Angkor wasn't just a temple site, it was a massive interconnected metropolis, possibly even more advanced in water management than contemporary Europe. Unlike Rome's aqueducts or Mesopotamia's rivers, the Khmer relied on monsoon rainfall, which was unpredictable and seasonal. To survive, they developed an ingenious water management system, giant reservoirs called barrays, complex canal networks, artificial lakes and dikes, overflow systems that prevented flooding and droughts. This hydrological empire allowed them to grow rice in abundance, support large cities, and thrive even through dry spells. It was their greatest strength and, ultimately, their greatest vulnerability. By the 15th century, the Khmer Empire began to decline. Angkor was abandoned. Temples were reclaimed by the forest. The once bustling empire faded into legend. What happened? DNA, climate records, and inscriptions now point to a perfect storm mega-droughts followed by extreme flooding, overpopulation and strain on the water system, invasions by Thai and Cham forces, possible plague outbreaks that weakened urban centers. Without water, food, or defense, the empire crumbled. Not in one dramatic moment, but over decades of environmental and political unraveling. Recently, researchers began extracting DNA from ancient Khmer skeletons buried in temple grounds and surrounding areas. Here's what they found: a strong genetic continuity between ancient Khmers and modern Cambodians, showing cultural survival, not total extinction. Evidence of mixing with Indian, Chinese, and Austroasiatic populations, suggesting Angkor was a multicultural hub. Isolated genetic traits and royal burials that hint at elite intermarriage and social separation. These findings challenge the myth that the Khmer Empire vanished without a trace. In truth, it transformed, and its descendants still walk among us today. You can still hear the echoes of the Khmer Empire in modern Cambodia. In the language, Khmer is still spoken by over 16 million people. In the architecture, modern pagodas echo the forms of Angkorian towers. In religious fusion, Hindu-Buddhist traditions still coexist. In dance, sculpture, and music that trace back over 1,000 years. Despite the collapse, the culture never died. It evolved, adapted, and endured. When French explorers stumbled upon Angkor Wat in the 19th century, they were awestruck. But instead of recognizing it as a native achievement, many colonial scholars insisted it must have been built by foreigners, Indians, Chinese, even Egyptians. This racist dismissal ignored centuries of oral tradition and local knowledge. Today, Khmer archaeologists, historians, and spiritual leaders are reclaiming that legacy, using science, storytelling, and cultural pride to remind the world, this was built by our ancestors. The most haunting part of the Khmer Empire's story is how much of it remains undiscovered. Beneath rice fields, modern towns, and jungle floors lie temples, cities, and tombs still waiting to be found. Some scientists estimate that less than 10% of Angkorian-era structures have been properly excavated. As laser scans continue and DNA research expands, we may learn even more about this forgotten empire, including how it rose, ruled, and eventually fell. In an age of climate change, food insecurity and urban stress, the Khmer story is more relevant than ever. It teaches us that technology doesn't guarantee survival, that empires fall when they ignore ecological limits, that true greatness is not just in rising, but in what remains when you fall. The Khmer Empire wasn't just Southeast Asia's greatest power, it was a warning and a wonder, buried until we were ready to see it again. Beneath the forests of Southeast Asia lies more than ruins, it lies a memory of a people who mastered nature, built wonders, and then vanished into the very land they shaped. But they are not gone. Their temples still rise, their language still speaks, and their story, long buried, is finally being told brick by brick, bone by bone, and strand by strand of ancient DNA, because sometimes the greatest empires are the ones the world forgets.